It's been another rough weekend for Liam Lawson, as he found himself at the bottom of the timing sheets in yet another qualifying session. Finishing in P20 purely on pace, he was outperformed by every single driver on the grid. Meanwhile, both Racing Bulls managed to make it into Q3, and Verstappen was right in the mix for pole position. But none of that will provide any comfort to the young Kiwi, who had some strong words about his future with Red Bull. With Helmut Marko now shifting his focus toward Koda's impressive progress, could we see an unexpected change sooner than expected? And more importantly, has Red Bull made a miscalculation in their driver choices? At this point, there is no doubt about which driver is under the most pressure after the first two races of the 2025 season. Lawson's struggles in qualifying have been glaring, with P20 finishes in both sessions in China, first in the sprint event and then again for the main race. Making matters worse, he couldn't blame strategy or bad luck. This was purely down to performance. Even though he pointed the finger at Gasly for an overtake before the final corner, that explanation doesn't hold much weight. The reality is simple. He wasn't able to get the job done. Reaching Q3 should have been the bare minimum expectation, yet it remained out of reach. His qualifying struggles date back to Melbourne, where he finished P8, bringing his average qualifying position in a Red Bull to a staggering 19.33 after 3 sessions. For a driver eager to make a lasting impression, this is far from the start he would have envisioned. Pressure from Red Bull's management is already mounting, and it seems like Lawson is beginning to feel the weight of expectations. Worse still, his confidence appears to be slipping. After his poor showing on Saturday, he admitted he's struggling to adapt to the car, explaining, "It's really tough, honestly. I know the margin for error is small, but that's not an excuse. I need to figure it out. The session was messy, and maybe without the traffic issues, things could have been better. But that's not good enough. We should be quick enough on the first lap. That shouldn't be an issue. I just need to get on top of it. But time is running out. And if Lawson doesn't find a way to turn things around soon, the consequences could be severe." The situation looks even worse when you compare Lawson's performance to his teammate. Since the 2023 Singapore Grand Prix, he has yet to outqualify Koda in a head-to-head battle. Even more concerning is the fact that he hasn't secured a single point despite driving a far superior car compared to Racing Bulls. To be fair, Lawson didn't get many opportunities to prove himself against Koda. After the 2023 season, he was sidelined and only returned for the final 6 races of 2024. However, that doesn't change the fact that his latest outing in China was a major cause for concern. He knows it. Red Bull knows it, and the pressure is only going to increase from here. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda is doing exactly what he needs to do. In the sprint event on Saturday, he secured 3 valuable points and then went on to qualify P9 for the main race. While his teammate Har outqualified him, making a strong statement after his embarrassing crash during the Melbourne formation lap, both Racing Bulls drivers are consistently fighting for points. This is where the real problem lies for Red Bull. While Verstappen continues to carry the team, he can't do everything alone. If the second seat isn't producing results, a decision may have to be made sooner than expected. And Lawson is well aware of this. When asked about his struggles, he didn't try to avoid the conversation. Instead, he admitted that time is not on his side and that he might be facing the possibility of a replacement sooner than he anticipated. He explained, "I just need time, but unfortunately, I don't have much of it. To drive an F1 car properly, you need to be completely confident in your ability. It's not that I don't feel confident, but right now, I keep missing the window. That's what I need to fix. I don't know how else to put it. It's just not good enough." These words paint a clear picture. Lawson knows he's in trouble, and if his performances don't improve fast, he might not be in that seat for much longer. This isn't the first time a Red Bull driver has found themselves under scrutiny so early in the season. But what makes Lawson's case even more pressing is the way his struggles are affecting the team's overall performance. Red Bull needs both drivers to consistently deliver strong results, not just for the Drivers' Championship, but also to maintain their position in the constructors' standings. If Lawson continues to underperform, it won't be long before the team starts slipping down the rankings. And with the financial incentives tied to finishing higher in the championship, the pressure to act will only intensify. To make matters worse, Lawson isn't just struggling against his own teammate. Even Verstappen, despite being the defending champion, isn't finding things as easy as last season. The RB20, while still competitive, isn't as dominant as before. The balance isn't quite right, and even Max, known for extracting the absolute maximum from any car, is finding himself in tighter battles against Ferrari and McLaren. For a team that once relied on Sergio Perez to back up Verstappen in key moments, Red Bull now finds itself in an even more difficult position. They don't just need a reliable second driver, they need someone who can fight at the front consistently. And right now, Lawson isn't showing signs that he can be that. Driver Helmut Marko is certainly paying attention. As the man responsible for promoting Lawson to the senior team, he knows that if things don't improve, the criticism will come back to him. He took a gamble on the young Kiwi, and with each poor qualifying result, that decision looks more and more questionable. Although the main race in China is yet to take place, the damage may have already been done. Even a points finish wouldn't be enough to erase the doubts surrounding Lawson's place in the team. If Red Bull wants to remain competitive, they can't afford to wait too long before making a tough decision. One name that keeps coming up in this discussion is Yuki Tsunoda. While Lawson struggles, Yuki has been quietly building a strong case for himself. Unlike previous seasons, where inconsistency often held him back, this year has been a different story. His performances have been sharp, his racecraft has improved, and most importantly, he's delivering results when it matters. Even Helmut Marko, who has been critical of Yuki in the past, seems to have taken notice. Instead of his usual blunt assessments, Marko recently praised Tsunoda, saying that he had made significant progress compared to last year. He even went as far as to describe Yuki as being in the form of his life. That kind of statement from Marko is rare, and when it comes, it usually means something is brewing behind the scenes. While Red Bull hasn't openly discussed any potential driver changes yet, the signs are becoming harder to ignore. If Tsunoda keeps performing at this level and Lawson continues to struggle, the conversation about a mid-season switch will only gain more momentum. For Lawson, this is the worst possible scenario. He's already facing intense pressure from inside Red Bull, but now he also has to deal with the reality that Tsunoda is making a strong case for his seat. With each solid performance from Yuki, the argument for replacing Lawson gets stronger, and Red Bull has shown in the past that they won't hesitate to make a move if they believe it's necessary. We've seen it before with Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, both drivers who were given a shot at the senior team but were replaced when they couldn't match expectations. If Lawson doesn't turn things around soon, he could be next in line to suffer the same fate. For Red Bull, this isn't just about one driver struggling, it's about maintaining their dominance in Formula One. With Ferrari and McLaren closing the gap, they can't afford to have a weak link in their lineup. If Lawson continues to fall short, it creates a major problem for the team's strategy. In an ideal situation, Red Bull would have both drivers finishing in the top 6 consistently, allowing them to challenge rival teams in both championships. But right now, Max Verstappen is fighting alone at the front, while Lawson is nowhere near the points. That not only affects race strategies but also weakens Red Bull's ability to defend their position in the Constructors' Championship. In the past, Sergio Perez played a key role in supporting Max, especially during title-deciding moments. While he wasn't always on Verstappen's level, he still managed to be a valuable asset when needed. But with Lawson, the gap is much wider, and Red Bull simply can't rely on him to back up Max in key battles. This is why discussions about a possible driver change are heating up. Red Bull knows they have other options, and if Lawson doesn't step up soon, those options will start looking more attractive. Tsunoda is one possibility, but even beyond him, other names could enter the conversation if things don't improve quickly. For now, Lawson still has time to turn things around, but that time is running out fast. Every race that passes without improvement only increases the likelihood of Red Bull making a change. The question now isn't just whether they will replace him, but how soon they might decide to do it. The next few races will be crucial for Liam Lawson. If he wants to secure his future with Red Bull, he has no choice but to step up his game. He needs to prove that he can adapt quickly, deliver strong performances, and at the very least, match the pace of his teammate. However, the pressure is unlike anything he has faced before. Red Bull has a history of making swift decisions, and if they feel Lawson isn't the right fit, they won't hesitate to pull the trigger on a replacement. The likes of Yuki Tsunoda and other potential candidates are already waiting in the wings, ready to step in at a moment's notice. For now, the ball is in Lawson's court. Can he overcome his struggles, regain his confidence, and start delivering results before it's too late? Or will Red Bull decide they've seen enough and make an early switch, just like they did in 2019 with Gasly and Albon? One thing is certain. Every session from this point forward is make or break for Lawson. His Formula One career is hanging in the balance, and if he doesn't turn things around soon, he could find himself out of a Red Bull seat before the season even reaches its halfway point. Now all eyes are on the next race. Will Lawson fight back, or will this be the beginning of the end for his time at Red Bull? We'll find out soon enough.